This is a review of Prentice Hall's self-assessment library for the sales management class. Now, in order to get access to the self-assessment library, you need an access code which should be given to you in the self-assessment green text book that came with your textbook. So go ahead and log in, and you're going to see once we click on the log button. But you go through and you click on the log button, and I will go in and I'll plug in as you can see here, it gives you some quick background information on the Self-Assessment Library 3.4. This library is done by Stephen Robbins. It contains interactive surveys that will help you learn more about yourself by providing you with insights on your skills, abilities, and interests. Just as important for us is that they have some sort of self-scoring for the assessments. They generate also an individual analysis for the scores, which will be for you. You can retrieve them from the computer or print them out, which is what we're going to go through and what we would like for you to do. Or you can actually email them if you've had a difficult time printing them out. But this information is actually used to assess the skills and abilities of employees or prospective employees. And so that's how we're going to use this information. So we'll go through. There are some requirements down here. Make sure you meet. Most of you all will meet these overall requirements. If you click on Submit, now if you submit, of course it gives you a welcome. It tells you what it is that you could do. You have some assessments that are up here. The assessments are divided, just as in the book, divided into 4 key areas. Now we've set up the assignments to coincide with these 4 key areas. So go back and take a look at the syllabus. You'll see which ones that are assigned each period. They also are outlined in your textbook. So the Tanner textbook goes hand in hand with the Robbins assessments. So you can see there's home, there is what about me, there's personality assessments. You can see there are 5 personality assessments: values and attitudes, motivation insights, decision-making assessments, and others. So you can see there are quite a few. Also, there's working with others, there's communication skills, leadership skills, and power and conflict skills. Life within an organization, how well someone can adapt within an organization. There's organizational structure, careers, and change and stress. There's new assessment. These new assessments are personality insights, motivation, across the board. You can see those. Now, some of the assessments, if you click on, they will load, if there's any information that's available on you, they will load the self-assessments that have already been completed. So let's say we clicked on and say, what about my basic personality insights? What about my basic personality? We can load that information. You can see how I've actually answered that one for myself. List below is a set of 15 adjective pairs, and you can go through and you take a look at those. You complete that information. So you go through next. You can say you complete it. You can complete the next one. You can go back through and select the ones that you want. After you've completed those assessment, you click on reports. In the reports, they'll give you the scores. As you can see here, you'll see that assessment number 1, what's my basic personality, that is completed for me. I could click on and click on an analysis, and in the analysis it gives me a great deal of detail. That detail is for you. Do not submit that detail for me. But if you go after you complete it, you can get some sort of analysis. You can see the ones that I've completed here. I've completed what motivates me, and you can see it gives me a score. Now we're going to talk later in the course about what we actually do with the score. Now you can save your scores, which you click on, and you can save it. And what will happen is you can send an email, enter your email address. Your scores will be emailed to you, so you can get that information exactly emailed to you. They also will save it on their server. So you can send your scores. You can send it to an additional individual. So if you click on send, You could say your name and your email address, so you could tell her which email address to send it to if you want to send that out. Or actually what we're asking you to do, you can actually print it. You can print it on your printer, or if you have a document writer file, or if you have a PDF file, if you're using PDFs, then you can actually print it to a PDF. You click on here. If I wanted to print it to a Microsoft XPS document writer, which anyone who's dealing with Microsoft actually has access to, you can click on OK. You can click it OK. You could print it to a file, or this is a way to print it to a file, an XPS file. So you can go through and say self-assessment number 1. We can print it here and click Save. Now it's going to save it. Now what happens if you go to, like I'm going to go to my documents, self-assessment number 1, what you see now is that you actually have a file to upload. Now what it does is every time you go back through and save, it will save the additional, so you can see how you've progressed with respect to each of the overall assessment areas. And you can actually go through and send that in. Now this information is actually more for you than anything else. What we want to see is, we want to see the numbers, we want to see the overall assessments. When we come back through and we do the finals, we're going to go back through and determine, are there any of these assessments we feel are appropriate to determine whether someone's going to be a good solid manager, and which additional ones should we be using. That will be part of your final assignment.